I have been on a spiritual journey the last couple of years, and it's felt like my whole life at the same time has fallen apart multiple times and come back together. But we have got so much more control over our reality than what we have been conditioned to believe. And this is the realization that I now want to share with as many people as possible, because the conditioning around us, whether it is the people around us, our friends, our peers, our work, have created the identity that we have today. And now, as adults, it's up to us to realize what is serving us with the identity that we have or what's holding us back. Because I'm guessing if you are looking to improve one area of your life, whether it be health, wealth, relationships, success, money, whatever it is, you've come to a point where there are certain things that you're doing that is holding you back from reaching this possibility, this reality that you want. And I'm here today to tell you that it is possible for you. You just are in this awkward stage where most people quit or blame somebody else in this victim mindset, which is so normal for so many people. And it's something that I have suffered with massively myself, and can see it now so clearly with the people around me who complain, who moan, who are just stuck in giving all of their effort and energy and attention on the outcomes that they don't want. And that is what is creating more of it. So if you want to rewrite the script, start afresh, create a whole new life, this is going to be for you. Changing your reality takes radical responsibility for everything and for everything that you are and everything that you have been taught, and rewriting the script. I want to let you know that what you want wants you. In the quantum realm, in the universe, for you to get an idea is evidence enough that that reality is a possibility for you. So don't think for a second that having the house, having the relationship, having the career, having the finances is out of your reach, because it's not. And if you think about everything that was ever created in this world, whether it be the light bulb, the computer, a house, all of these came from an idea in the ether before they were created on this physical earth. And it's amazing how many instances in history where reality will take place. So somebody will create something or somebody will do something that completely beats the odds, like the physical odds of our brain of what we can conceptualize to be true. It will beat it. And all of a sudden it exists because somebody didn't stop with this idea that was given to them from an alternative reality. They had this feeling, they had this drive that they followed, and it led to an outcome that they had envisaged, but it wasn't something that was reality to begin with. And everybody around them told them that it wasn't possible, you're crazy, you're delusional, this isn't going to work. And yet they defied all odds. There is countless things. If you think about the light bulb, the 1000th attempt to get the light bulb to create light, it worked. If they would have stopped halfway through and believed all of the thoughts around them that everybody had told them of it not being possible, not being true, you're crazy, you're obsessed, this would never have led to the creation of the light bulb. Like, that's just one example. Before that had happened, it wasn't reality. So everybody didn't believe that that was possible. Once people see that something is possible, the belief then changes. Now, if you can have a dream, have a purpose, have a drive, have a mission, and have a belief inside of you that nobody else can see, that is up to you to fulfill. But you're going to have limiting beliefs, doubts, fears creep in, which is basically the voices of the environment that you're in and the voices of the people that are around you. If you can separate yourself, your identity, from everything that you were up until this very moment, you can create a new reality, because you can fulfill your dreams based on the belief that it is possible. And that is what is so freeing about this realization that you are a creator with the universe. I wish this was taught at schools, because so many people believe that they aren't good at life, that they aren't good at learning, that they aren't good at things because at school, it's basically just a huge memory test. We're given so much information and expected to remember everything just to be graded on a test. There is no encouragement for learning. There is no encouragement for problem solving. There is no encouragement for creating value. You're just thrown information and expected to believe it. Now, with somebody like me with ADHD and with an attention span on things that I don't find interesting really short, school was an absolute nightmare. And growing up, I see this now with so many people. You fail at exams, you fail at tests, and you carry this into your work environment. And all of a sudden, you're seeking approval from your managers, your bosses, from the people around you, just to be told that you're doing a good job because you don't have that inherent belief that you are capable. So the reality that you want is on the other side of you overcoming the beliefs of your capabilities. So your beliefs are the gatekeeper to your reality. I want to ask you now, for the last week, what has been the common denominator in the thoughts that you have been thinking? What have you encouraged yourself to do or have torn yourself apart because you haven't done right? Do an inventory this week with the words that you speak to yourself. For the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, I have concentrated on the words that I've spoken to myself every single day. And it has started to change so much for me. That is like the foundation. If your self-talk is so negative, the barrier to entry is so high for this belief, for the courage, for the action that you want to take because you don't even believe that you can do it yourself. So start there. Write an inventory this week, Monday to Sunday, this week, everything that you say to yourself. And when you wake up, and when your eyes open in the morning to when your eyes close. Because I promise you, that is 90% of your initial challenge understood and won. Because once you know what you're saying to yourself, you can then bring awareness to it and start to change it. If you knew that your reality was based on the identity that you have, and the identity that you have are the thoughts that you have, the beliefs and the feelings, would you not do everything in your power to completely refine the identity that you currently have? And that starts with your self-talk. Because if you are wanting to accomplish your dreams, if you're wanting to accomplish a goal, and the first thing that you say to yourself in the morning is that you're stupid and that's not possible, do you think your subconscious mind is going to create possibilities and opportunities for you to fulfill your dreams? No. It's going to look for everything it can to provide proof of the narrative that you have in your head. So your subconscious mind, which is like the voice that you have inside, that is run by your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings. You have what we call critical faculty. You can decipher what's true and what's false. So if you tell your brain, oh, you're going to be a millionaire, you're going to have a successful business, but you don't believe it to be true, it's not going to sink in. So you can read as many books as you want. You can listen to 1,000 podcasts. You can tell yourself 100 affirmations a day. But if you do not believe that to be possible, it's not going to become your reality. So retraining yourself to speak to you in a different way is not affirmations. It is literally the foundation of the beliefs that you are going to bring awareness to. And if they aren't serving you, you are going to rewire. So think about your subconscious mind also super closely linked to your nervous system. Your nervous system is basically starts by your brain, your head, goes through your spine, and it is the nerves in every single part of your body. This controls your fight or flight responses. It's responsible for you feeling calm, for you needing to take action. And most of us, honestly, most of society is living in survival. We are scared constantly about our next paycheck, about the conversation that we just had, about our boss shouting at us, that we are living in a constant state of survival, like a threat is happening. And this was evolution. This needed to happen for us to survive because we needed to perceive threats in our environment to keep us safe and survive. However, Susan shouting at you in HR or Derek shouting at you in accounts because you haven't completed something is causing those same fight or flight responses, which is really unhealthy because instead of being in that response for 7 seconds and moving on, we are in it for most of our day. The way that we control our subconscious mind is through our nervous system. So if we can control and regulate our nervous system. And that doesn't mean staying perfect all the time. We are meant to ebb and flow in our emotions. That is literally the human experience. If we aren't aware of what is happening with us, we will be dictated by our instant, immediate, automatic reactions, which sometimes, most of the time, if we are wanting to accomplish something bigger than ourselves and more than what we've ever done, will be to our detriment because our mind will perceive it as a threat. So, going back to understanding your negative self-talk, your beliefs, this is how you create your reality. That is going to cause a certain sensation in your body when you think about your dreams and you say to yourself, I want to be a millionaire, or I want to own a G-Wagon, or I want to meet the partner of my dreams. When you start thinking about your goal, believe me, you're going to have certain sensations in your body which will dictate whether or not you perceive that reality to be possible or not. When you can come back to yourself, so using guided meditations is amazing to pull all of your energy back in. This will help your nervous system calm down and bring your attention from everything external. So from the argument that you had, from the commute that you did, from the promotion that you did or didn't get, it will bring your attention from everything external and it will bring it internal. And you will be forced to kind of like control a beast because your mind will tell you, I want to go for a coffee. I need to clean. I need to do everything but this thing of what I'm doing right now, which is sitting in a quiet guided meditation for 10 minutes to regulate your nervous system. Okay. Your nervous system is so closely linked to your subconscious mind because when you want to give information to your subconscious mind, like the new beliefs that you want to rewire, I am capable of creating a thriving, successful business. I'm deserving of love and the partner of my dreams. When you want to communicate with the subconscious level in you, you need to be in a relaxed state. If you're in your fight or flight, if you're activated, your subconscious mind is offline for receiving any information to rewire itself. It's just picking up on all of the conscious things rather than subconscious. So bringing your energy back into meditation is honestly, like, I would say I started off this whole spiritual journey, self-development journey, being really analytical. All of my conscious mind started with the affirmations, in the mirror, and, just telling myself really superficially throughout the day these positive things without changing my self-talk, which didn't work. So I'd say 5 positive things to myself in the morning, but then I'd still call myself an idiot by the afternoon because I hadn't done something properly, or I can't do that, which was the biggest thing that I said to myself all the time. I can't do that. I can't do that. For whatever reason it was, I can't do that. I'm saying this to you now. I don't believe that anymore. I've come to a point now where I understand that identifying a belief within myself that I can see is impacting a certain area of my life, to rewiring that belief and taking action has been the game changer. So meditation has really been the foundation of that. And I've done a lot of work before getting into meditation because that's when you want to visualize your future. If you're visualizing your future, if you are meditating, if you're coming back home to yourself, but you still have this underlying belief that those things aren't possible, it's going to be really hard for you to get into the brain state, the brainwave state, for you to rewire that information. And it's a practice. You start small and you grow. Nobody can meditate for an hour to begin with. And the exciting part is the journey, because you become a whole new person when you identify a belief that is holding you back, go on the journey to rewire it, and start acting from a new place. So it's really exciting. And all of this is controlled by your subconscious mind. Meditation is amazing for regulating your nervous system and subconscious reprogramming. Journaling is incredible. I would say I started my journey out journaling so much, and I still do, because you can see on paper how illogical those beliefs or the things that you're telling yourself are, and then you can rewrite the script understand why they're there, and then work to let them go. Breath work, meditation, journaling. You also have inner child work and shadow work. This is all to penetrate. This is all to get to the subconscious mind. Now, you can use whatever modality you want. Actually, there's quite a few out there. There's so many. You can look on YouTube for free videos, but you have to do something that resonates with you. At the start of my journey, I really struggled meditating, so I journaled. Then I started breath work because I've got ADHD. I can be quite hyperactive in my mind and not concentrate, but breath work, because it was an activity, helped me to concentrate inward. And then I progressed to meditation. So I kind of do all three along with shadow work and inner child healing, which is literally going back to old memories of the past that started a certain belief that you're now operating from, and rewriting them and giving comfort and love to the child that you were at that time. And our child brain internalized all of its experiences. So if you had a parent who was hyper emotional or who shouted a lot because they were going through something in their life, the child would internalize the shouting and the chaotic behavior as their own fault. Or you might have had a caregiver that didn't spend a lot of time at home and you didn't know why, that they had to go off to work and spend a few nights away during the week to travel for work to bring an income to the household. You just saw it as they don't spend a lot of time with you. You internalize that as being your fault or something's wrong with you. It can be as vague as that, or it can be as really specific depending on what you've experienced. But our mind was conditioned, especially as children, to internalize everything. And now is shaping those earlier experiences on us, shaping how you respond in life as an adult. So we now have to learn to expand our capacity to hold certain things so that we can evolve and grow. But that's up to us now. That's up to you to decide where you need to expand your capacity to hold or feel certain emotions. And that is really the full circle of self-talk, understanding your identity, your belief, regulating your nervous system using a specific modality, and then using that to expand and bring awareness to what it is that you want to change. But it's up to you to do that. You are capable of creating the reality that you want. The only thing that you have to sacrifice is the identity that you currently have. So if you don't like the current life that you have for whatever reason and you want to change the situation, go inward, change yourself first, because you will then manifest everything that you are looking to change. And you do that by your subconscious mind being in a new vibrational state to be able to identify opportunities and things in life that you want to draw in. You need to be so persistent on tackling the identity that is holding you back. It's kind of like your old frequency, your old self will draw you in because it is so used to the excuses, the stories, everything that it used to tell you in order to create safety because it loves its comfort zone. But your life, the one that you are dreaming of, requires you to step into the unknown. And to step into the unknown requires your physical body to expand, your vessel, your heart, your mind, everything needs to grow. And to do that, it needs to feel safe in moments of unsafety. And you do that by emotional regulation through nervous system regulation. It will help you rewire your subconscious mind. They are so closely linked. And this is what gets to be exciting. This is what you get to do in this life. You get to create your yes life. If you had to think about yourself as nothing or no one, being attached to nothing, and operate from being just energy, and look at that version and think, what would they be able to create if they had no attachment to the stories that I currently have? Because they will have no limits. They will be powerful and limitless. And that is what you get to be in this lifetime if you decide that is your reality. All it takes is a decision and action to change the direction of your life. So when you go into a breath work or a meditation for the first time, I really want you to imagine yourself as a limitless, powerful being. Think about the reality that you desire, and I want you to feel everything that comes up. And I want you to journal it out, because when you journal it out, you will be able to see what you need to work on. Awareness is alignment. And you can create the reality that you are dreaming of, but you have to let go of the stories that you're telling yourself. You have to let go of the identity that you have right now. The stories, the thoughts, the emotions that are tied to the stories about your capabilities. Because when you rewire them, you get to create and step into the version of yourself that you know you're meant to be. You are capable of reaching your full potential. It just will require you to step into a new identity. You will never create a reality that falls outside of what you believe you are capable of. And so you have to go inward. You have to rewire that negative self-talk, regulate your nervous system through breath work, through meditation, through believing that that reality is possible for you. When you can rewire your beliefs, that's when you change your reality. And whatever you think you are meant to do, you are completely right. It is now up to you to rewire the story of what you think you're capable of. Also, look at it like this. If you have a belief that you will never have enough money, that is now within your subconscious programming. It is on your reality to some degree. That scarcity might come into lack for love, for your health, for work, for your career, because scarcity is a belief. And when that belief is in your subconscious mind, you perpetuate it over and over again in certain areas. You need to rewire that belief of lack, rewire that belief of scarcity in your life, because we are inherently abundant. And when you believe you're inherently abundant, you start operating on a different field.